Updates big and small and a wheel in our weekly news right here, right now. Greetings Rommies and welcome to RomRom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to our regular news roundup, our weekly sim racing news. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. If you have any news for us, send us a mail to news@romrom.net. How did you enjoy F1 22 this weekend? It was free for the weekend, so I hope you tried it at least. What do you mean you didn't know? We posted it on our Discord during the week. While this has been published as a hotfix, it's big enough to be an update all for itself. Apart from doing some update on different cars like the Bruckle Moonhawk, the Civetta Scintilla, the Ibishu Pessima and others, the development team also has done some work on Hirochi Raceway and West Coast USA, with the most work being done to Italy. Other than that, the team has updated the official translations and fixed an issue of the UI and controllers. The newly introduced understeer reduction assistant was showing some issues which have now been corrected, as have been for the force field. The latter has seen some functions added for mod makers so they can change the force of the force field. Keeping with mod makers, there was a bug in the mission editor that prevented mission creation, which has now also been solved. Also, the AI now can handle the transition from one-way roads to two-way roads, and there's been a ton and a half of corrections regarding traffic, especially when handling police operations. Some audio, Lua and world editor fixes conclude the list, a link to which you can as always find following the link in the description. Thrustmaster presented the T128 this week, an entry-level racing wheel for a price around the €200 USD. It will be PC compatible and either Xbox or PlayStation compatible, as these wheels tend to be. The PC Xbox version is already available in Europe, the US of A, Canada, Brazil, Australia and Asia, but not in China. The PC PlayStation version can be pre-ordered but won't be available in Europe, the US of A, Canada, Brazil, Australia and Asia until the end of October. Both versions are scheduled for a November release in the rest of the world. Thrustmaster claims that using a combination of belt and gears gives the wheel 20% more strength in the force feedback compared to the T150 and TMX wheels. Shifting pedals and the pedals, hey, I said it right on the first try. Shifting pedals and the pedals use magnets. The wheel is delivered with only 2 pedals, as is customary for entry-level systems. The wheel will offer 13 buttons and is set by Thrustmaster to set the rotation degrees automatically between 270 and 900. After a while longer than he had as accustomed, X4 Fab aka Ilya Yusupov has released a new custom shader patch preview version on his Patreon, and it's all about trees. Well, no, not really all about them, but they've been the center of his attention, as he wants trees in Assetto Corsa to be as realistic as possible. As an aside here, I understand the issue, but I'm too concentrated on staying alive when racing to be able to even see if there are trees around the track. Anyway, we understand some of you have the time to check out the trees, maybe because you spun off and would like to enjoy better trees in Assetto Corsa. And so does Ilya. He's been working on generating procedural trees, that is, randomized trees based on some rules so they look like trees, but has not been able to produce something that he's happy about and doesn't take ages to render. But while he's moving in that direction, he's implemented a first version of 3D trees that can be used in Assetto Corsa and can be triggered by mod makers in their track mods. Apart from trees, he's been working on making light effects better, testing algorithms with all manner of acronyms we're gonna spare you from. But there's one acronym that we always use because rFactor 2 and other sims use this technology. PBR is the name, and Ilya has done some improvements on the way it's used within CSP to give you even more detail in Assetto Corsa. Also improved are the heat shimmer effects as well as fog. And there's a complete new flames effects programmed in there too. Something that surprises many people is that CSP also affects the way the AI behaves. Ilya being Ilya, he could not help but improving Assetto Corsa's AI, which, well, had plenty of room for improvement. Now you can set up CSP in a way that decides if the AI is slower or faster depending on their position in relationship to yours. You can make the AI in front of you slower and the one behind you faster, or however else you prefer it. Moving on, rain tires now can overheat when the correct conditions for that appear and therefore will lose grip, increasing the realism of your race. For server managers, Ilya commented he's made it more difficult for drivers on the server to cheat, but as expected hasn't gone into detail there. And if you use a PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, CSP has added support for that now, with all manner of support for effects on the controller. And we conclude this news with a warning: CSP is great, but you'll need a powerful computer to run it, as all these fantastic improvements cost many CPU and GPU cycles. You'll get all the details about the new CSP as always by following the link in a description. Dakar Desert Rally has done a couple of important steps up toward fulfilling Saber's promise. First of all, the extended Saudi Arabia map is out as free DLC, and while it is free, you have to activate its inclusion to the library by yourself, so check the store page out. This seems to be an issue within Steam rather than anything having to do with the game. The free DLC brings a total of 36 stages from 2020, 2021 and 2022. Also, they've done some updates, adding free custom play in the free mode menu and adding a node passed message in the HUD so you know which node's the next one. They claim they've improved the AI and hopefully it's that way, as this was one of our issues with it. Check the link to our review up there and say they've improved the handling of bikes and quads to the level where you can better countersteer if need be. Also, they've included support for many Thrustmaster, Logitech and Fanatec wheels, check your screen or the link on our description, as well as adding H-pattern and handbrake support within all supported brands. Moving on to multiplayer driving, they've improved a lot of the camera and spectator issues. Be aware this is a big update with over 32 gigs. You may want to start it ahead of time depending on your internet connection speed. Help us create the content you love and become a patron. Let us spread our wings. Amongst other perks, it will fix your name for posterity like this, but you'll also get to know what we plan and what we're doing. So a big thank you to our patrons. If you come here regularly, please consider subscribing, especially as we are nearing the 3,000 subscribers and would like to reach them before the end of November. Would you like to help us reach that goal? 3 months have passed already and Motorsport Games surprisingly still hasn't filed for Chapter 11 protection. Instead, Studio 397 has brought out a release candidate and an in-game store. Let's start with the release candidate. First of all, the warning. Things in the release candidate may or may not be going into the Q4 drop scheduled for November, depending on how the feedback is from the daring souls who test it. Furthering the development of all things having to do with track limits, now they've added a relaxed track limits mode. They've also increased the penalties for passing illegally, but on the other hand increased the time you get to rerun to your correct place. They have changed many things when it comes to message displaying, so while they've eliminated many bugs there, common sense tells me they may have introduced a bug here and there while doing so. They're human after all. If you want to warn other drivers, you can now use the headlight pulse button for this, which will make your headlights pulse 4 times for a whole second. Cue a new and realistic way to unnerve the pilot in front of you and force him or her into an error. You mean buzzard. A small but not unimportant enhancement of the usability pertains adjustments within the UI, as the right mouse button acts as a 10-time multiplier while the middle button acts as a 50 times multiplier. And if you keep the left mouse button pressed, the number will increase by 2 after 2 seconds and by 10 after 10 seconds. Neat! They've also fixed some smaller things within the AI code, so it's now a better, less erratic driver. And once again, they've done fixes for mod makers. If you are thirsty for some rFactor 2 racing, look no further, as in about an hour from now we'll be broadcasting yet another race from the global enduro community racing Porsche 911 GTEs on Mid-Ohio. See the link up there. The biggest change though is the in-game store. We are personally looking forward to this change, as we've often enough complained of the strange and chaotic nature of the Steam store, where, for example, you never know if you have the content of a DLC or maybe part of it. Let's be clear, this still uses Steam on the backend, as from what we understood, the in-game store is just a beta frontend for what Steam delivers, which is not difficult if you take a look at the rFactor 2 Steam store. This in-game store not only clearly shows you which content you already have when checking it out, it also does a quick analysis of what you have in the basket and tells you if it's maybe cheaper to buy a pack or if you can get a better deal in a different way. And anything you buy in the store will be downloaded straight away if you have Steam set up to enable downloads while in game when it comes to rFactor 2. If you have done an update of rFactor 2 since Friday, you should already have the in-game store in place. This is something that helps both sides. We get a clearer overview of what we have, they hopefully get to sell more by making it easier for us to do so. Another box ticked in the improvement of the usability of rFactor 2. Nice! And even nicer than that is that we have tons of other videos to offer. Check the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.